It's been 30 long years since the All Blacks lost to the Wallabies at Eden Park, and tonight the All Blacks look to strengthen their bond with this colossal fortress. Standing in their way, however, the indignant Australia side, who look to call to a halt an attempted world record of 18 consecutive wins by a Tier 1 nation. Kia ora, good evening and welcome to Auckland. I'm Jake O'Flaherty as we take a look at the Wallabies lineup for this one. And well, Scott Seo, Stephen Moore and Sakopi Kepu alongside Rory Arnold and Adam Coleman in the tight forwards. Dean Mum shifts to number 6 and Michael Hooper starts as well. But the real big one here is Lopeti Tamani playing his third test match at number 8. To the backs, Nick Phipps is at number 9. Bernard Foley in 10 to round out the halves while we go to the midfield, and Reece Hodge, who kicked a special kick in Wellington a few months ago. Samu Karevi alongside him. Dane Haylett-Petty, Henry Spate and Israel Folau round out the 15. James Hansen, Tom Robertson, Alan Alatoa, Rob Simmons, David Pocock, Nick Fribsby, Quade Cooper and Sefa Naivalu. Alongside me in the commentary box tonight, the folklore of the St John's College Under-65 Golds captain, Bradley Richardson.
Thank you, Jacob. And for the New Zealand team tonight, number 1, Joe Moody, 2, Dane Coles, and 3, Owen Franks. In the locks, Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock, Matt Todd, Jerome Kano, and Kieran Reid at the back of the scrum. TJ Perenara and at number 9, Bowden Barrett 10, Ryan Crotty, Anton Leonard-Brown the midfield, and Julian Savia, Israel Dagg, and Ben Smith the back 3. In the reserves, Cody Taylor, White Crockett, Charlie Faumuina, Liam Squire, Artie Savia, Tawera Kubalo, Aaron Cruden, and Duat Fekitoa did get dropped to the bench, Malachi Fekitoa.
Also an honour to have the top sportsman on the sideline tonight. Murphy Open winner, Morrinsville Under-9 7-a-side tournament runner-up in 2008, and the 2009 Morrinsville Sports Hawks Under-10s most improved player, Nicholas John Van Bar.
Yeah, you have too much time on your hands, that's all I have to say. So, what's going on today? It's going to be a big one. Record, I guess. How many games? 18, is it?
18 is on the trot, is the goal here, and that will take a world record of the Tier 1 nation. Most consecutive wins, of course. We must remember that Cyprus hold the world record of 24 wins in a row is a test match completely. As we take a look at the match officials, TMO Sean Veldsman and assistant referees also from South Africa, Craig Hubert and Marius van der Westhuizen, and the referee from Wales made his debut in 2003 with Portugal, Georgia, and now the most experienced in the world, Nigel Owens. The last time these two met, Nigel Owens refereed. Australia have never won a match, a New Zealand versus Australia match refereed by Nigel Owens. And 16 out of the 18 matches that the All Blacks have had him, they have won. Also another stat, under Nigel Owens, the All Blacks double scores from their opponents. So, well, the stats all throughout have looked in the favour of the All Blacks for this one as we're about to get underway. Dean Mum back in Auckland, his hometown where he was born, now playing for the traitor of the Wallabies. Nigel Owens blows his whistle, chucks his arm in the air, and Bernard Foley gets us underway here at Eden Park. 80 minutes left in this stanza as Jerome Kano takes it down. Perenara looking to clear from the back of the ruck. Does so. He finds Ben Smith, in fact, and he takes it out for the first line out of the match. It's a pitch-perfect night down here in Eden Park. Nick Van Bar, what's it looking like?
It's looking pretty good. Looks like the weather's going to hold out and it's going to be a great day for a good game. Well, hopefully New Zealand can take it.
Yes, exactly right. It's somewhat of an uphill climb for the Wallabies for this one. Stephen Moore gets it in. And Coleman takes it down, and off the back is Tamani. Past wide is Israel Folau, and he takes it down. Gets back up and smashed in a tackle. And in the end, the Wallabies still have it. Coleman gets it again. His second touch of the night. Jacob Flaherty, Bradley Richardson, and Nick Van Bar, your commentators. And,
And that's Bradley being a little bit of a...
And it looks like a penalty to the All Blacks.
Yeah, that's fucking Nick Fitz's fault.
And, well, not releasing the ball. A jackal over the ball. I think it was Jerome Kano. And, well, it was a very important jackal indeed. And something that we're going to see and continue with for the remainder of World Rugby. Obviously, the scrapped laws of the Mitre 10 Cup have seen some negative outlooks around the breakdown.
Sit in the naughty corner, Bradley. That was uncalled for.
Oh, it's his fault though.
Nick Phipps is a human
He
being
deserves
like me and
all
you.
the hate that he gets.
No, you're the only one who gives him hate, I think.
No. I bet you Dane Coles does. I bet you he hates him. I bet you that medic does he pushed over.
Dane Coles throws into the line out on the 50-metre line, but they lose it. The All Blacks and the Australians have it, and they take it past the 50-metre line into the All Black territory. They've made 10 metres now as Tamani takes it down. They go left, does Nick Phipps, finds his backs, and it's eventually at Henry Spate, the Waikato man, who started his rugby at Waikato, Hamilton Old Boys Rugby Club, but now he's out for the Wallabies. Number 4, Arnold takes it forward. They've got their advantage, and in midfield offside, well, the Australians, from about 30 metres out, will look to put some points on the board. 3-0 is a possibility, a probability probably. And, well,
of course
a bit of niggle from these two teams to start off, but the Wallabies will have the first advantage.
I thought that Cooper was a bit of a naughty word. Can't say that. From Tokoroa, but it looks like there's about 3 or 4 of the buggers in the team.
How much of the Australian team is New Zealanders?
Sakopi Kepu, Dean Mum, alongside Henry Spate.
So too many.
Quade Cooper, and I think that's it by the looks of it.
Are these guys paying them in diamonds or
So
something?
are all these good players? Isn't Israel Folau a Kiwi too?
No,
That's
he dates a Kiwi, I think. But
Glue your eyes to the screen, Jake.
Of course,
Something's going to happen.
Christian Lealiafano, a Wallaby of his time. He, of course, came from Waikato as well, played in the same Waikato team as Henry Spate, and they've made a name for themselves. Another name playing for Waikato that's now over in Australia. And you wouldn't be too hard pressed to see him in a Wallabies jersey as Smesi Masadewa. Bernard Foley looking to put 3 points on the board. 4 minutes gone here as he wants to put it up right in front of the sticks, 30 metres out. He puts it up and hooks it to the right.
How could you miss it?
Well, that was not what they
It's
needed.
not Wellington.
The coaching box
Zinzan would have got that one.
Exactly right. And,
I think Jake could have got that.
the All Blacks looking to regain possession. Pretty windy here at Eden Park. The wind is not the best for the kickers here tonight, but pitch perfect conditions. Beautiful scenery around Eden Park as we get it underway. Bernard Foley gets it and he kicks it up and about to be taken down by Savia, but he can't take it and the ball's loose, but the All Blacks have it in the end. TJ Perenara off to Retallick. Ben Smith finds a gap, hands on Leonard Brown, he dives, he's in through a gap, passes wide to Kieran Reid, they're on the 22, outside to Dag. My goodness gracious me, well they're off like a bloody bat out of hell. Ben Smith takes it down just inside the 22 of the Wallabies territory. The All Blacks looking dangerous. Retallick down to the ground. Perenara tries to milk a penalty but doesn't eventually get it. A pass has gone wavy and, well, they've lost some metres here, but Julian Severe looks to probe.
That was a great set of play right there.
They go again, they go right. It finds the fatties in midfield. Ben Smith, he's got one to go. Israel Dag, he's going to go in the corner of Eden Park. And it only took 5 minutes this time, but the All Blacks are on the board.
So they miss an easy kick, and then we score a try 2 minutes after. I think that I don't have anything to say to that.
Well, beautiful from the All Blacks, but you take it back. That brilliant dart from Anton Leonard-Brown. He ran 15 odd metres, then a wide pass to Israel Dag. But brilliant by the All Blacks, and that puts them 5 on the board. Well, the odds of $10 against the Wallabies might not be as bad as you thought.
Did anyone not expect that to happen though?
I didn't.
Because the Wallabies have been shit.
Well,
Pardon the
their
language.
average score in 2016 is 21 points to 18, of course losing, while on the contrary, the All Blacks have an average score of 42 points to 14 out of their games so far this year. It's a compelling argument to say that the All Blacks are major favourites for this one. Nigel Owens is having a bit of a huff and the puff in the background, and rightly so, because that was a big run.
I'm standing 10 metres away from Bowden Barrett.
Well, he puts it up, he goes,
Holy.
he kicks the ball, and he's shanked it out to the left. Not the greatest conditions, and I tell you what, the kickers in the women's game before, 67 points to 3, the Black Ferns over the Wallaroos. I tell you what, Kendra Coxhedge and Kelly Brazier put in a bit better efforts than.
Although that was a typical.
I think the wind corrected.
Barrett.
I think the wind corrected their
that was a
their
typical
their
Bowden
flaws
Barrett
of their
kick, though.
kicks.
Owens to get us underway, tells the Aussies to get back, and Bernard Foley puts it up. Taken down at the end by Ryan Crotty, and he just outside of the 22. They look for an exit play. TJ Perenara looking around. A possible counter-ruck there by Adam Coleman. Box kick, however, and the Wallabies have it. Bit of a scramble for the ball as Israel Folau, man who played AFL until 2013, but now with the Wallabies, and it's lost forward by Adam Coleman. He's a bit of a fiery man, Adam Coleman. Obviously got yellow carded in the Wellington match. Some may say a typical Australian.
Reminds me of Dean Mum. Does Dean Mum... It took him 2 minutes to have a scrap with Brodie Retallick.
Reminds me of Outback Truckers. I've seen a couple of fiery buggers on that program.
Well, the first scrum, as we have a look at the ref cam, geez, that's a shot and a half of Sekope Kwepu's crotch, but nonetheless.
Well, Nigel Owens is a bit is a bit queer.
Of course the camera would be pointing at his crotch.
Bradley, I have a query for you. At the front gates, there's 2 flags flying, and I cannot tell the difference between them.
That's New Zealand had actually
Just a bit of a New Zealand
voted
yarn
for
right
a
there.
better flag to change to them. That might not be a problem.
Penalty to the All Blacks from the scrum. Owens puts his arm in the air in
And
favour of
waves
the
it
All
like
Blacks.
he just doesn't care.
First scrum of the game. Well, he's stamping his mark around the scrums, and the front row collapse, and it was Scott Seo pulling the scrum down, and Bowden Barrett looks to put it into touch.
What's your score predictions for tonight?
150 to 3.
You know, I'm as I said before the match, 67 points to 10.
Yeah, I reckon that's quite.
Although that's pushing it because that
I reckon I
means
know.
Australia has to score a try.
I reckon they'll score at least 2 tries. Oh,
As
no.
the
I
All
reckon
Blacks
they'll score
throw
2
it into
tries.
the line out just inside their 22 as they look to set them all. Dean Mum trying to get through there. All Blacks going nowhere. It's twisting around a bit. TJ Perenara gets it. Not quite yet. Now he's got it now. Offloads it to Leonard Patel's crotty. Almost intercepted. But Anton Leonard-Brown. And for
he's
another
through.
try.
Second of his career, and brilliant stuff by Anton Leonard-Brown. Well, under 10 minutes, and well, hitting 10 minutes now. We're at a point per minute. At this point, it may be 80 points to 0.
They're on track to get 100.
I don't know.
What's
This is
Michael
unbelievable.
Checker? Do you reckon he's left the ground already?
Yeah.
I probably would
Because
not.
I would have given up too.
Taking the next Uber to the hotel that
Like,
he's staying at. Or
Grab
probably
the ARs to a couple of deck chairs, let them sit up and have a beer and just...
around your sorrows.
They can ref themselves.
Yeah, well, I think your problem there is Henry Spade. He came out of the line for a possible intercept, and some may say, like Ian Jones, a 14-point try. Michael Checker disgusted. But if that had been caught by Henry Spade, we would have been down the other end, and it would have been 5 points to all at this point.
Bowden would have got him.
Michael Checker is one ugly duckling. I'm sorry, but he's one ugly duckling.
The Australian team seems to be full of them. Bloody Dean Munn, Stephen Moore,
What about that old Hooper?
Hooper. Oh God, he's got a...
Cross-eyed Hooper. He probably sees
68% kicking in 2016, and it's about to go down after another bad kick from Bowden Barrett. Shanks it, off to the right. A full house here at Eden Park, and it looks beautiful from our shots at the moment. The Garden of Eden is in full readiness for the All Blacks to continue their reign of World Rugby stardom.
Jake, I think in the story of the Garden of Eden, someone's meant to be kicked out.
Well,
and I think that might be the Aussies today.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Good analogy, Nick. Very well done.
Yeah, I know. It took me 2 minutes to think of as well. Oh, well, Bradley, what's going on now?
Well, the Wallabies have kicked off again. Surely they may as well just sit down because the All Blacks are bound to score another try from this position too, as they look to attack from inside their 22. Jake, what are they doing?
Well, extra play yet again by Ben Smith. He clears it, and Shrek goes for a tumble and a possible charge down. Israel Folau takes it down inside their own territory, the Wallabies. They shift it right to Hodge in somewhat of midfield, taken down on the Auckland sign on the field. Phipps looks to clear either left or right, goes right and finds Coleman. They're losing metres here, the Wallabies. The All Blacks, pressure is insurmountable, losing 5 odd metres per phase, the Wallabies at this point. However, they look to make it and rectify it as they give it to Folau, and he makes a dart through the defence. Taken down eventually, Phipps off to Foley. Foley spots a gap, but Moody holds on. 5th phase we come up to now. Shrek penetrates the line off to Spate. In fact, it was Karevi who linked up. Taken down. Now they're out about 25 metres out from their for the All Blacks line. Inside All Black territory. Advantage comes, and that's a penalty to Australia. And, well, they have an opportunity here to get it back to 7 points if you want to take it with this big win to Nick Van Bar.
Well, Jake, I can't help but react to how you call Moore Shrek. I reckon that's an insult to Shrek. He is a good-looking man, and you just can't do that.
Well, Nick, I think it's a testament to the conditions that Bernard Foley is taking a shot for the sideline.
Well, I think that's a tactic just to not take any penalties.
Yeah, well, Brady Retallick a bit fast there out of the line.
A few handling errors there by the Aussies.
Oh, Brody, not a happy man. Interesting fact for you guys, that Anton Leonard-Brown try was the 100th try since the All Blacks started this winning streak.
Well, a possible maul from the Wallabies after their line out. They're getting driven back, much to the delight of the crowd. And Phipps is on the ground, picked up by Kano, and the All Blacks have it. Scrappy on the ground, but the All Blacks retain the ball. And they made a few errors here. The ball's loose, they pass it wide. The Wallabies have it now, right in front of the post, 5 metres out. Is it another change of possession? It looks like it, and Owen says penalty. Roll away wasn't good enough by the Wallabies, and Michael Checker is just about having a heart attack in the commentary box, but Reece Hodge not fast enough. I thought he won that
having
ball.
another fight with Retallick.
Bloody, they're like a divorced marriage.
Well, I thought he won that ball personally, and I thought the All Blacks would have been the team conceding.
I'm calling it next fight for life, Brodie Retallick versus Dean Mum.
No, I reckon we should just call Retallick Dad. So his mum and dad having a fight, because I mean, it is like a divorce.
We'd like to welcome our international audience for today's match. In New Zealand, of course, 10-8. Australia 10-7. And much more around the world. Of course, the All Blacks have gone down to the mall. Open happiness, as you're hearing.
Go Dane Coles.
Box kick from the base of the mall is Perenara. Running after is Israel Dag. Missed Israel Folau in the tackle. And Dane Coles takes them down at the end. They go right. The Wallabies. Owens puts his arm out towards the Australians. Not sure whether it was an advantage or not. Bernard Foley makes a gap. He goes through. And Reece Hodge takes it down about 38 metres from the line. Back inside Pocock. Pocock spots a gap. He's off. But he's taken down on the 22. They look to make inroads into this in this territory. Todd's over the ball. Penalty to the All Blacks. Matt Todd making his presence felt, and he's got the pat on the back. Brilliant by Matt Todd, but left a bit isolated by the Australians, Bradley.
Well, that's a perfect jackal. He took the right time. There was no one around the Australian player. Like, they were all just bloody back on the halfway line.
Yeah, mate. Oh, what a stitch up.
Hey, who's taking Nick's microphone?
What do you mean?
Oh, you're there. Okay, yeah, I thought it was an Australian who took.
I am an Australian.
Just a poll I found on Twitter. Who are we? Rugby fans. What do we want? New Zealand versus England. When do we want it? Now.
Amen, sister. We bloody well need it because Australia and any of the other rugby championship teams or Southern Hemisphere teams are not really cracking this All Black team. 16 minutes gone, 10 points to 0. The All Blacks over the Australians. A bit of niggle, as we see, and it's so fitting in a New Zealand All Black, New Zealand versus Australia match. So Nigel Owens tells the captains to have a chat to their teams, in which we see Kieran Reid rallying the troops, and on the other hand, Stephen Moore just going and...
I just had a moment where I wondered where the hell Richie McCaw was on the field. Surely they can just let him sit in the goal line so they can... As a 16th player. Or would that be illegal?
Well, you know, I think he's probably at the point of World Rugby where he should be allowed.
He's like the god of rugby.
Whenever Australia asks for more from the Australian team, do they get mistaken by, what's his name, Moore, Shrek? Because I think that asking for more is just buggering it up more.
I got a bit confused there. The All Blacks at the base of the ruck. Turnover to Australia, much to the delight of their captain and the 5 fans of the crowd supporting the Wallabies. Yeah, well, it's a black takeover here at Eden Park. And well, a good sacking of them all there.
Another comment from Twitter. Feel for Folau. He's like a gazelle playing among a group of hyenas.
Well, you know, you're probably right. You know, Israel Folau is a great athlete. Clearly, as mentioned before, he played AFL until 2013 when he switched codes to rugby in his 48th match tonight for the Wallabies. 48th test, I should say, as we set the scrum and head into the 18th minute. Owen says set, and Phibbs puts the ball in. Pressure coming on from the All Blacks, but a penalty from the All Blacks from them, and the Australians get the penalty. Wow, you really felt that the All Blacks had the heat on the Wallabies there, and well, all the loose forwards seemed to curl off that and appeal to Nigel Owens. All Reid came to Todd. Yeah, somewhat of a strange penalty when you've got so much dominance. I'll talk to you, Brad Richardson, about that being a front rower.
Well, as an under 65 kg scrum expert, you could easily tell that Australia collapsed the scrum on purpose to get the penalty.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. And well...
Oh, that's definitely Australia who's gone down. They've just collapsed in on them.
Yeah, well, I think it may have come from the far side with Craig Jabir.
Well, they screwed that line out.
And the All Blacks have the ball yet again. I'd love to see the possession stat. We'll try and chase that up because New Zealand is kicking ass at the moment. Oh, there's one Australian fan in the crowd.
Jeez, should we just give Australia like 2 points for trying? I mean, they are playing the best team in the world. I mean, you should give them some points for trying.
Follow us on Twitter at PYJAMA and on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with us. The Wallabies take it down. Folau can't get the pass away to Karevi on the inside ball. And that could have been an opportunity really for the Wallabies. But they have the ball still. Samu Karevi takes it down. Phipps off to Stephen Moore. Shrek takes it down. Crotty eventually holds on. And the Wallabies are making some metres here. They've got some space out wide. If they can use it, but they can't, they've got advantage for a knock-on by the All Blacks. And, well, they've got some insurance here to the Wallabies. Off to Tamani in his third test for the Wallabies. They go left. Now they're looking a bit dangerous, the Wallabies. Will they do what they normally do and crumble in this area? Off to Haylett Petty. Then Karevi goes to forward, but he loses it forward. And just the story of the Australians. They get so close, but
So far
no
away.
cigar.
You cheeky buggers, are you eating Maltesers up there? Jake, open up the bloody window and throw me down a few.
Okay.
Hurry up.
Be careful, Jake. There's lots of people around.
That's alright, he's got a good arm on him.
Well, throw me a couple too.
Well, you're right next to me.
No, I'm not. I'm on the field too now.
Hey!
Did you get to that?
Yeah, I got it. In my hand, of course.
Hold on. Oh, shit. No, that one. Sorry, I think I hit someone there.
Oh,
That was shit.
oh that one landed 10 metres away from me.
No worries, anything for a Maltese.
Where did it even go?
It looks like
Head to
Kieran
head,
Reid's
they've
picked
played
that one up.
157 times.
Oh, I
New
found
Zealand
it.
have won 108. And the Wallabies only 47 with 42 with 7 draws. The average score of a New Zealand versus Australia match is 20 points to 13 in favour of New Zealand. So, well, as I mentioned, the stats are insurmountable. And the highest score, well, it's 57 that the All Blacks have put on. The biggest difference is 37. So it'll be interesting to see at the end of this match whether New Zealand can break the record of 18 consecutive wins, but also a possibility of another record against Australia.
Jake, do you want a fun fact?
Oh, I love a fun fact.
The tribal huck has recently kicked out, which is a gang, by the way, has recently kicked out all the P dealers in Narrawahia. Now that's really good, I reckon. It's the gang's given back to the community. Some of them even work at the soup kitchen, I heard.
Wow.
Yes, well, touchy subject, Nick, as we get back to the rugby.
The Kieran Reid holds it at the back of the scrum. He goes off, takes it down eventually, gets up and carries on. He wasn't held by Hooper. And some big bodies going into that one. No chance of counter-ruck from the Wallabies and cleared away by Perenara at the base of the ruck. Haylett Petty takes it down. He's had a brilliant season with the Western Force. Played sevens, under 20s and for the schools team in Australia. Man, he was born in Durban, in fact. Got a lot of foreign players in this team, and we'll touch on that in a little moment's time. Phipps in midfield, they go left to Foley. About 30 metres out from the line here. Possible jackal opportunity for Matt Todd.
Oh, he's got
And
another
he's got
one.
the penalty for holding on. You'd think that was a ruck. You really do. And I feel for the Australians there because I really do think that they were a bit hard done by. Matt Todd gets his second jackal of the game.
It's his third.
Third jackal of the game, sorry about it. And yeah, well, interesting. But we go back to the foreign players. David Pocock was, I'm not kidding you here, he was born in Zimbabwe. Stephen Moore was born in Saudi Arabia.
No way.
100%.
You're bullshitting me.
100%.
I'm Wikipediaing this.
You have far too much time on your hands.
100%.
He was born in Kamis Mushait.
Is that
Saudi
even a
Arabia.
place?
It is, apparently. It's where Stephen Moore was born.
Oh no! Israel Dag lost it forward.
The All Blacks lose it forward as they look to attack. They've got it back, but it'll be a scrum to the Wallabies as we take another break. Shit, this game has got a lot of breaks in it. Brodie Retallick getting a bit touchy-feely with Nigel Owens. Surprised Steve Munn.
I think it was the other way around. I think Nigel was keen on a bit of Brodie. What do you reckon, Jake?
Well, it turns out Stephen Moore actually lived in Ireland too. Does Saudi Arabia have a rugby team? Because I think he'd be better off playing for them.
Yeah, well, the depth of the Australian team isn't the greatest. We've come to know of late. James Hansen, of course, the replacement hooker for the Wallabies for today's match. But obviously, you've got some depth in Tatafu Polata now, but he's not playing due to injury as we see the big PM John Key in the crowd, the good man himself.
Looks
He's a
completely
good lad.
disinterested in the game.
Oh, and he swings the head back. There's a ponytail in front of
Is
him.
that
I wonder if he's...
Warren
No, it's Steve Chew, mate,
Who's Steve
CEO
Chew?
of New Zealand Rugby.
Oh,
And
I knew he looked familiar.
yeah.
Well,
23 gone.
Actually, Stephen Moore has the option of playing for these clubs in Saudi Arabia. Riyadh RFC, Jeddah RFC, Al Khobar Quins RFC, formerly Khamis Quins RFC and Khobar Eagles RFC, the Riyadh Warriors RFC, the Tiaf Tigers RFC, or the Yanbu RFC Legends.
Well, that's brilliant to see.
Nick, are you having a bit of trouble looking at your team sheet?
Nick,
down
there's a
there?
sub.
Yeah, I am.
I think Sif,
No. I got
That's
it, Jake. I got it.
Number 13.
Karevi is come off for... Hold up. I can do this.
23.
Thank you, Jake. Valu.
Naivalu, yeah.
There we go. Look at that.
Australia have it at the scrum, and a brilliant second shunt by the Wallabies. They couldn't quite get there. And Michael Checker is yet again a little bit fiery.
I reckon Michael
Even if
Checker
the
should just
Wallabies
go
won the
home.
World Cup, do you reckon Michael Checker would have been happy?
I don't think anything can make him happy, to be quite fair.
Yeah, but what
That was
about Graham Henry? He wasn't all too happy with anything ever.
Neither is Shag.
Yeah, old Shag is
You have to be
he's
grumpy
quite
to be an
sterile as
international
well,
rugby
eh?
coach.
I think it may be a prerequisite.
My favourite coach is Eddie Jones.
Yeah.
Yet again, follow Pyjama NZ at Pyjama NZ on Twitter. To stay up to date with us throughout the game, we will be tweeting. Tweet us. And of course, the hashtag at hashtag NZLVAUS for the game.
I don't know if I'm going to manage staying awake this whole game.
Yeah, well, it has been, somewhat ebb and flowing, this game. Certainly had the favour of the All Blacks in the first sort of 10 minutes, and then the Wallabies shifted it round and had some opportunities of attack from their own. And, we've seen some brilliant bursts from them to keep it at 10-0 for the remaining 15 minutes that they had. But as we surge in to the 25th minute, setting a scrum, of course. Well, the Wallabies to put in on the 10-metre line of their own territory. Phipps feeds, and brilliant. The ball is in the middle. No one's moving. It crumbles. And Nigel Owens has got to set it again. How good is that, Bradley Richardson? That may be mouth-watering to you as a front rower.
Yes, well, my mouth is in fact watering, not because of the scrum, because I'm eating a fruit burst.
You throw me down one of them.
I gotcha. A minty? How about a minty?
Nah. Have you got a green fruit burst there?
Yeah. I'll open the window.
Alright.
You got it, Nick?
Give me a second. Yeah, I'm ready. Hey, got it.
Well, these scrums, Brad, talk us through the pressure that comes on in these scrums. Obviously, myself, never been a front rower. And have you been involved in a scrum like this? Talk us through what's happening between these two teams.
Well, the All Blacks have set their scrum down of 8 people, preferably, and the Wallabies have also set their scrum down of 8 people. And what's happened is they're pushing against each other, but they're pushing the same force. So that means they don't move anywhere. But we don't actually know if they're not pushing at all, or they're pushing the same. Because maybe they could just be not pushing.
At how many newtons would they be pushing?
1,702.
Wouldn't that only be like 3 kgs?
The ball eventually comes back on the third set of this scrum, and Phipps gets it away to Dane Haylett-Petty, who makes a dab through on the far side. Phipps goes left. Eventually, gap is Bernard Foley, taken down by Kieran Reid. Hands on the ball, but not for long enough. Over the ball is Retallick. Can't force a penalty. The Wallabies still have it. Now on the 10-metre line of New Zealand territory. They're running from right to left of the television broadcast centre of Eden Park. Running toward the west stand of Eden Park. The Wallabies, they've still got it. Their sixth phase kicked through by Perenara, but they still have it. Phipps makes a break. Offloads to Dean Mum. Out the back door to Tamani. And the All Blacks recover because it wasn't the greatest of passes.
Never knew Tamani was white.
He's not.
Well, the Wallabies actually have it again.
Well, here they get it again. They go
I think you
right.
got the wrong person.
Off to Bernard Foley. Hodge now. Off to Dane Haylett-Petty. Back inside to Hodge. They're 10 metres out, the Wallabies. They need a try desperately as we go 13 to 12 minutes, in fact, until the end of the half. It's Coleman. Rory Arnold goes over for the try. Brilliant by the Wallabies. And that's exactly what they needed to stay in this game. A bit of niggle afterwards. And who's in the middle of that? But Bradley Richardson's best friend, Nick Phipps.
Oh, don't ever get me started.
Look, Mum and Dad are going hard at it.
Bloody, this is... Why can't they just punch each other? If everyone punches someone, what happens? Do they all get red carded?
Well, Nigel Owens is bringing someone over, and he's going to have a chat to Kieran Reid, in fact. But Rory Arnold, in his fifth match, in fact, sixth match for the Wallabies, sensational awareness of the line. He goes over in that power of a lock from his legs, able to get him where he needed to be, and then power over, put the arm out. And of course, we must remember, you can put the arm in any direction, and he put it towards the try line, and that's 5 points for the Wallabies.
Here's a fun fact. My dad and Jake's dad, way back, when my dad played for Natia in New Zealand, and Jake's dad played for, was it Waihi?
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and they got in, Natia was losing by miles, and the guy called Skinner, who's still good mates with my dad, he called some call, and they all had a massive fight, and they all got red carded.
How many got red carded?
I don't know, about 13 of them.
Nice. That would take a long time.
Yeah,
did he get them all to line up, and did he just walk past them all?
It was during a line out, during the call. It was like, the call was like 27 or something, and they all just went full out, flew punches at each other.
Were your dads throwing punches?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, discovered at a New Year's party as we see the clock tick over. 7 points to 10. 10 minutes to go. Well, the Wallabies are back into this one, aren't they? And it looks like they've got the penalty for niggle after the ball. In fact, it was Kieran Reid's team. The All Blacks have done something stupid, and the Wallabies get a penalty at halfway instead of the kickoff, and they've elected to go for the post. Now, of course, Bernard Foley converted the try. So how stupid was that? They score the try, do something stupid after the try scored to New Zealand, so they get a penalty after the conversion. Now Reece Hodge has got an opportunity to draw it up at 10-all.
What did the All Blacks do?
Well, a bit of unnecessary niggle, and as you said, you can have a penalty from at halfway to the team if something's happened after the try. But Reece Hodge, we see he's got the legs on him. He had 60 metres in Wellington. As he steps back, he's got 50 metres dead in front, puts it up and shacks it to the left-hand side of the uprights. And really, well, that was a major opportunity for the Australians to almost score a 10-point try.
How was that even possible?
What the hell did the All Blacks do? That was all Dean Mum's fault.
Old Mum and Dad going having a mean fight.
Dean Mum.
What would you call Nigel Owens? What's you know how Irish have it? Like, what are they? Elves? I don't know. Little dwarves? I don't know. Get us drinking people.
Well, after the 22, the Aussies have it
them?
just 50 metres out, 55 metres in fact, out from their own line, still inside New Zealand territory. They're looking sharp, are the Wallabies. And, well, a possible second half of beauty we may have. Nick Phipps off the back of the ruck. Over the ball is Kieran Reid. Can he force a penalty?
No,
He
he
forces
cannot.
a turnover instead. Even better, interception, but offside as Israel Folau, and that was marginal. But intercepted, well, not to full effect. And well, the All Blacks now have an opportunity to bring it out to 6 points the lead.
Stephen Moore was not happy with that call. He came all the way from bloody 20 metres away to tell Nigel Owens. And now Nigel Owens just tells him to shoot. As the All Blacks opt not to take the 3 points and kicking into touch. As Bowden Barrett boots the shit out of it into the 22.
Yeah, well, the All Blacks attack in the first 10 minutes was brilliant, but 45 rucks and mauls the Wallabies have had versus the 12 in which the New Zealanders have had. So not too many strings of phases put together by the All Blacks. The Wallabies' continuity is looking superb at the moment. 23 out. Retallick takes it down cleanly from the line out. It goes to a maul. Coles has got it at the back. Pass back to Kano. They're not going anywhere here. And I'm sure they're told to use it now. They're told to clear. And TJ Perenara goes right. He goes off to Fiki Toa. Not Fiki Toa. It was Leonard Brown. And lost forward through the linked pass of Ryan Crotty. And, well, a bit frustrating now. And not many people would have thought after 30 minutes that the difference would have been 3 points. However, we must remember the last 10, 20, 30 minutes of the All Blacks is where they really come to shine of late. And it's the bench who really carry this team forward. The importance of a bench, Brad Richardson.
Yes, well, the importance of a bench is that it provides support when you no longer want to stand up. In case your legs are sore or you're feeling tired. As it looks to be a neck injury, so that'll be another 5 minutes to sort that shit out. Bit of time for banter.
I've got no banter. I've run out.
Jake.
My banter's run out.
Oh, would you look at that? The spanner's come out and she's tightening the sprigs.
Surely that's a pre-match thing you do, not during the match.
Maybe when the ref was checking the boots.
Boots and mouth guard.
Boots and mouth guard behind your back.
Interesting fact, the last time the All Blacks led by 3 in a test match at half-time, they beat South Africa by 42 points. Wow. So it's not good for the Wallabies.
Yeah, well, New Zealand, you can't really come across a better team in the world, sporting team in the world that can do this thing. The Chicago Bulls, I'm sure, are a great team, but
Natia Rugby
you can't
Club
put together the brilliance of the All Blacks of late. 35% of possession has the All Blacks had, so Australia dominating with the pill in 7+ phases. Australia had 5, New Zealand none. At this point in the match, I'll tell you who's in control, and it is the men in gold and green.
They haven't done anything with it, though.
I think you're wrong there, Nico. I think you're wrong. I think
they've scored a try.
I think they've scored a brilliant try and showed some brilliant attack. It just took them a while to actually get firing enough to sort of get over that line as Hodge touchdown! TJ Perenara try! Yes. Brilliant! The arm is in the air, and the All Blacks go ahead by a further 5 points. Well, Reece Hodge was too slow in his clearance kick, but the pass probably wasn't the best by Nick Phipps.
That dive was incredible.
Well, as the analyst for this commentary team, I actually have some analysis on this try. It's the very first time I actually have analysis on something. Well, I think what led to that try was, of course, Nick Phipps. He took an absolute eternity to pass that ball. He had to take 2 steps before he actually gave it away. I'm being serious here. He led to this try. Because if that was the likes of TJ Perenara or, dare we say, Aaron Smith, that would have been gone straight away. Well, wouldn't even been close to a charge down. Nick Phipps, he's just too slow at the ruck. Bring on Nick, ultimate frisbee. Jake, your thoughts on that try?
Yeah, well, that was brilliant, wasn't it? Opportunistic, some may say. Absolutely superb by the All Blacks. Great vision. And, well, we were leaving 5.5 minutes till the break. More of a buffer at the break. You just can't imagine what the All Blacks are going to do in the second half. Beauden Barrett puts it up and he's missed it again. That's 2 test matches in a row in which his goal kicking hasn't been the best. But other than that, he has been pretty good this year. But the All Blacks, 35 gone, Reece Hodge won't be happy with that one. He was put on the right foot.
What a dive.
Put on the right foot the wrong way. He sort of got the ball to the right side of him, which he needed sort of to clear the other way if he needed to do that. Wasn't the best. And the All Blacks lead 15 points to 7. Take it down, Ben Smith from the 22. And the Wallabies look to get the ball again. The All Blacks on the 22. Looking for an exit play here. TJ Perenara, and deep in the pocket is Beauden Barrett, not finding the mistakes of Reece Hodge. And that's into touch on the 10-metre line of New Zealand territory. Reece Hodge, well, he's a pretty star player out of the Rebels. He only played 12 matches for the Rebels this year. And now this is his 6th match in the Wallabies jersey. He's 21 years of age and made his debut in the same match in which the 21-year-old Anton Leonard-Brown had in Wellington. The Wallabies now through way of Tamani in midfield. They're about 25 metres out. All Blacks get the penalty off the ball. Unnecessary by Rory Arnold, the try scorer. Shit, he's a big man. And, well, you wouldn't want to have a fight with him. But Nigel Owens, all 5 foot of him, has just told him to bugger off.
Nigel Owens is really stamping his authority on this match.
The respect that players have for that guy.
Just let it go, because I want to fight. I want to punch throw in an international rugby.
The respect that guys have for him, they're twice his size, and they're listening to him. It's unbelievable.
What's their job, Nick? It's the referee.
Yeah, I know, but didn't some guy get smacked by a ref? Oh, no. Didn't.
I'm having some technical difficulties. My keyboard is dirty.
Beauden Barrett from the penalty puts it into touch. Brilliant kick. Found his toe there. And that is a superb kick which will give the All Blacks an opportunity for some major attack here.
Isn't that a part of the Mooloo song?
No.
Isn't there a song, like, a part of it that goes, bugger, I forgot.
Yeah, it's okay, Nick. It's been a long
You
day.
probably forgot because it's not actually in there.
It's been a long day for you, Nick. We understand. We have these days from time to time. We're here for you. Yes, wait. The Sam Whitelake takes it down from the
dick, Jake.
The line out. I was being serious. Some people might think my sarcasm confused with sarcasm, but the rolling maul is somewhat lackluster at the moment. Kieran Reid at the back, off to Perenara.
Good tackle.
Had a few good games since the absence of Aaron Smith. Dummy. He goes through one tackle of Hodge, but taken in the end by Nick Phipps. His opposition halfback goes right. Is the acting scrum half. Dag takes it down, and a advantage for the Australians, holding on by the All Blacks. And, well, an attacking opportunity through their own half. No, advantage was null, and Nigel Owens says we'll have a penalty for not releasing the All Blacks. A minute and a half to go in the half. It's kind of flown by this half, but the Australians still in a bit of control. Momentum shifted, however, after the TJ Perenara try, but Hodge looking to open up his boot. Brilliant kick by Hodge, and that's inside the 22, about 17 odd metres out from inside his own territory, well and deep inside his own territory. And now he puts the acid on the All Blacks, and now a possible attacking opportunity for the Wallabies. They go to a little bit of a good play from the line out, but not made any metres and not fooled anyone. The Wallabies now 15 metres out. Nick Phipps trying to kick through as Perenara but they've still got the ball on the fourth phase of possession. Phipps off to Shrek. He goes down to ground. The Saudi Arabian. Phipps goes right. They're right in midfield here, about 15 metres out from their line. The All Blacks looking to defend this last 15 minutes of the match. The first half, rather. The ball's loose. The Australians still have it. This is what they need, the Aussies. Is certainly to go into this half time. They go right again. Now they're close to the line. Lost forward by Dane Haylett-Petty. And the All Blacks, through way of Anton Leonard-Brown, have the ball.
If we score a try off this, I'm going to laugh
Off to Bowden Barrett. Moody in midfield. Kano now. Kano goes through. In fact, it was Reed. Now he's linked up with Kano. And some blistering attack here by the All Blacks. On the cutters, Julian Severe lost forward. And we're in the red zone on the clock, which means Nigel Owens will call time on this first half here at Eden Park. The All Blacks have the lead by 8 points at the break. We will be back in 10 minutes' time after the half time. It's New Zealand 15, Australia 7. Well, we return here at Eden Park for the second half of the All Blacks and the Wallabies' last clash in 2016. The crowd are here in full voice, 49,500 packed into Eden Park for the last home match of the New Zealand calendar in 2016 as we rejoin you at 15 points to 7. Nigel Owen's about to get us back underway. And, well, the second half, we're in for a good one. Remember to follow us on Twitter at PYJAMANZ. Following the hashtag, of course, hashtag NZLVAUS. Owens blows the whistle. And we're back underway here at Eden Park. A short kick-off, and the New Zealanders have it. In fact, actually was lost forward by Brodie Retallick. Had it eventually, but lost it forward, the Australians. Nick Phipps. Off to Foley, then to Shrek. Saudi Arabian Prince, Mr. Stephen Moore. Off to Foley again. Hodge. Folau takes it down. Stringing the phases together. Coleman takes it down in the end. Nigel Owens waving the All Blacks to stay behind. Box kick from the base is Nick Phipps. And lost forward yet again by the New Zealanders, and the Aussies have it, and then they lose it forward. Double knock on, but in fact the first one went back according to Owens. Reid has the pill on the 10-metre line in their own territory, the All Blacks are running toward the eastern stand. The Australians have it now. They're going towards the western side of the Eden Park. Phipps off to Tamani, then to Seo. Seo off to Sekope. Kepu now 15 metres out from the line. Phipps looks to go right. They've got numbers to the Wallabies, but the All Blacks defence is good. 15 metres out, right in front of the line, is the Wallabies. They're on the forward side now. Sekope Kepu goes for a second dart. Penalty to the Wallabies, not rolling away. And Michael Checker is angry.
Well, that's not a surprise, is it?
Well,
Jake, what have you done? You've got bloody bugs in here.
Okay, now I'm slightly regretting opening the
I'll kill them.
commentary box.
I'll be up in 10 minutes. I'll kill them. What sort of bugs
Can I
are they?
have a go at sideline commentary?
Yeah. You can come down here if you want. I'm sick
I'll
of
be
all
down
this.
soon.
I'm sick of all the standing up.
I'll hold the fort here.
I don't even get a bench to sit on. I mean, the players all get a bench, and you know how important a bench is, Bradley.
Well, up to you, Nick.
Well, I'll hold the fort for the next minute or so as Bernard Foley looks to get his second kick for tonight. Of course, missed the first penalty opportunity and got the kick from almost near the sideline for the Wallabies. 7 points to 15 as he looks right in front of the post, about 15 metres out, just on a slight angle, puts it up, and Owens puts his arm in the air, as do Craig Jabir and Marius van der Westhuizen. It's 15 points to 10, Nick Van Bar, Eden Park, just into the second half. We're waiting for this bench to really top it off.
Kia ora, it's good to be here. My name is Tim Shadnup. No. Let's get to some. It's good to be up here, Jake. It's a good view. Bowden Barrett goes for the kick, restarts the game.
Yep, and Tamani takes it down. Lopeti Tamani, remember, third test match, and he's kicked David Pocock to the bench. Shrek in midfield, takes it down. We may as well just call him the Saudi Arabian Prince. As Reece Hodge on the third phase takes the ball down. Now Hooper looking to counter ruck. Actually, just ruck, because there's no counter to it. The Wallabies now off to Phipps. He's somewhat tanned, isn't he, Bradley? You almost think he's slightly, Asian to an extent. Ben Smith makes a break. Holy shit! Bloody hell! Matt Todd takes it now. 4-2. The 22-metre line. Whitelock off to Moody. They shift it left, but Xavier loses it. But pounced on like a cat was Ryan Crotty. Coming out of the line fast as Hooper, but legally. And now they're putting the acid on. That's a forward pass. 2 in a row by the All Blacks. And Owens picks it up. In fact, it came from the far side of Marius van der Westhuizen. Sideline commentator, what's going on down there?
Well, I'd just like to point out how much of a shit game Julian Xavier is having. As Aaron Cruden comes on to what I assume is very raucous support. I'm actually deaf at the moment, so I couldn't quite hear it. And Bowden Barrett comes off. Not their typical substitution 45 minutes into a game with the way Bowden Barrett's been playing, but surely you think that's a tactical one with the way Barrett's been kicking, Jake?
Yeah, it is probably. Clearly it is shown to be quite a tight test match. So the kicking will be very much needed.
Crotty got a boot to the face.
By
That
his
looked
own
like
team.
it hurt.
By his own team, mate. I'd just like to ask, why American Express is sponsoring an All Blacks game in New Zealand?
Yeah, it was somewhat interesting. Clearly this is not one of the Steinlager series. This is not the Investec Rugby Championship. This is a standalone match, so sponsors can come from anywhere, and I suppose it's the highest bidder that will win.
Does American Express even have a presence in New Zealand?
I don't know.
It's a credit card company, isn't it?
Wouldn't have a bloody clue. The Scrum, yet again, 30 kgs the difference between them. In Australia, just dominating because of it. You'd think Phipps off the back, inside their own territory. They're looking for a move, double round almost as Bernard Foley. Well-worked move from set piece is the Wallabies. Hooper. Down on the 50-metre line. They go right. Now they make a break. It's Bernard Foley. He's got outside Henry Spade. He's in the clear. Brilliant by Australia. And that is the game drawn up at 45 minutes. 15 all. Brilliant by Henry Spade.
Xavier had a bloody good chance of tackling him.
But number 11 from the bloody Wallabies
Cut him off.
got in his way.
That's got to be shepherding. Is that,
Surely.
no. Is that shepherding?
Have a look at that.
I'm sure
Bradley
it is.
Richardson talk us through it.
Oh, he's
No,
coming.
he pushed him off.
He did not hold his line. Well, I don't actually want to talk you through it because I'm quite pissed off at that.
No, he just pushed him away.
That is bullshit. Pardon my language, but that is absolute. Xavier is not happy. Look, that is Nigel Owens is screwed up on that one.
Well, you'd think the TMO Sean Veltzman would come into this.
He can always redo the call, can't he? If TMO butts in. Well, that's right royal crap. That's horrible.
That is
Have you got the score
indeed.
sorted up there, Jake?
Looks, I do, and they go to the TMO, retract the statement of 15 because it is TMO time as Nigel Owens wants to have a look.
That's got to be cool.
He didn't hold his
Yeah,
line.
well. Dane Haylett Petty may be in a bit of trouble here.
Jake, did he hold his line? Because he came in and he actually put a shoulder into Xavier.
No, he didn't put his shoulder on. He just pushed him off.
Yeah, well, he used his shoulder. He wasn't holding his line. Which I think is he's come across to push him out of the way.
Yeah, you'd assume that
Yellow card
that
penalty?
was somewhat Craig Joubert's decision there. And almost let himself down. Henry Spate. Maybe I'll tell
All
you.
I
would
will
have thought-
say is, if this is awarded no try, Michael Checker is going to go off like a bloody
Cut
hot,
snake.
hot day in Afghanistan.
One arm bricklayer in Baghdad.
No, that's busy. Yeah. No, well, Henry Spate, you would have thought he would have got there in the end. Nigel Owens
here's
is
the
looking at
decision.
himself on the screen. The decision is going to come. He's holding into
I'm
the
hearing
air,
it's no
and
try.
Well. Doesn't look like he's happy. Cheika's out of his chair. He's swearing. He's on the radio.
I can
He's
see
standing
naughty
up.
words coming out of Michael Cheika's
Dane
mouth
Haylett
right
Petty
now.
should be disappointed in himself after that one. The All Blacks get a penalty. Excuse me for changing the score. And Henry Spate has been robbed by his own teammate of Dane Haylett Petty.
Why would you even think about doing that? Henry Spate was
try.
away.
What a brilliant opportunity.
He bumped him off twice though. He did at the start and he did later on.
What a brilliant opportunity gone. Cheika is absolutely wild in the in his
He
box.
has no right to be. He's absolutely no right to be mad. The correct decision was made. He's only got his player to blame.
Yeah, but Savia could have stopped him, but not in time.
You don't think he would have stopped him though? You just can't
it
see
wouldn't
it
have been
happening.
in time.
Oh, brilliant play by the Australian to keep that in touch.
Yeah,
as
well, it's
Savia
not
goes
out.
hunting.
And Reece Hodges kept it in somehow. Looped around Israel. Folau had it.
Hooper
But lost
saw
forward
double.
in the battle. And the All Blacks have got advantage for a scrum. Ben Smith off to Savia, off to Kano, and he finds a gap. But Dean Mum holds onto his legs like a kid to an ice cream cone.
More like a mum to
And
a kid.
now off right, Perinara goes to Leonard Brown in the end. Israel Dag on the far side near the northern stand of the ground. Sam Whitelock to ground. The Wallabies on the back foot. Cruden cross kick. We've seen that before. Dane Coles is running after it.
That was
but
really
called as a
horrible.
mark is Dane Haylett Petty.
He'd probably still... I'm surprised he didn't break down his tears. That was Australia's best shot. They could have taken the lead.
Well, Dane Haylett Petty.
Oh, I've heard a bit of yelling from the future. Apparently something big happens.
Well, Dane Haylett Petty is the Durban man, and he punts it into touch.
Ben Smith, I think something happens at the end of this
Yeah,
kick.
well, Ben Smith puts it up, a bomb kick, and well, bodies everywhere. But Dane
Ben
Haylett
Smith
Petty
looks-
himself finds it and takes
Something
it
must
down.
happen
off
soon,
Was
to,
surely.
I the only one that saw that?
off to and
Go Dane Coles!
Kicks
Go
it
Dane
through!
Coles!
Dane Coles is in the front! Goes down, and we're going to go to the TMO for sure. TMO decision pending. We're sure Nigel Owens will go to. Well, Bradley Richardson, I don't know whether to call you prophet or Jesus Christ, because that was insane. How did you know? Well, Dane Coles, brilliant by him. The ball came loose. And, well, who was it but Nick Van Baar's favourite player to kick the ball through? Sean Voutsman has he has the decision in his hands.
Can I say something, Jake?
No.
If my name was Dane Coles, I would change my last name. If I was as inspirational as him, I'd change my last name.
I'd
McCain.
break everything.
No.
The water boy has come on during a TMO call. He has come on during a TMO call. He is not meant to. He has screwed up royally and should be fired.
Well, okay, Bradley Richardson, Bernard Foley is not entirely gone for that ball. Is that somewhat what we've seen before? He's clearly got...
got it back again.
He can't do that. He's
Yeah,
yellow carded. Yellow carded penalty try.
Yeah, well, I think you might be right here. Bernard Foley is somewhat just held Dane Coles back. But, however, in that situation, can you outrule that decision?
Well, if Foley had not held Dane Coles back, Dane Coles would have got there and scored.
I think
Yeah.
you've got a penalty try coming up here. I really do.
Jake.
Dane Coles has missed it. As if we
Yeah,
haven't
you
covered,
can't do that.
Dane Coles has been held back somewhat, just ever so slightly, and you wouldn't be surprised if Owens decides to reach into his left pocket, bring out the yellow card, and stand under the post and give a penalty try.
Jake, can I conclude my spiel? If I was as inspirational as Dane Coles, I would change my last name to McCain. Not only is it a cool name, but you could say, Dane McCain, you've done it again.
Well, we
Well, I'm
see
a bit worried.
him on the
He has
big
done it
screen.
again.
We see him on the big screen as Nigel Owens Sean Veldsman is delivering his message. No try, and it's been missed. Play on has been said. They'll go to the 22. Well, an out of jail
Are you allowed to hold people back now?
Well, somewhat contradictory into what happened before, as we see Rob Simmons come onto the field, and it looks like Adam Coleman, the try scorer, is limping off. So that's an injury, and he won't be coming back on.
That's a shocking call.
A child has went missing and drowned at Piha Beach on Auckland's west coast. So if you're missing a child, condolences. Australia have the ball on the 10-metre line of their own territory.
You didn't just do that. You're a horrible person.
Australia on the left. They go in midfield. Rob Simmons, first touch of the ball. He finds a gap, and he's run 20-odd metres. Taken down eventually by his superior speed of TJ Perenara. They've got the ball, the Wallabies. Knocked back.
Go Dane!
Coles versus Shrek to scramble upon the ball. And Dane Hallett-Petty's down. He'll go off injured, you'd suspect. But the Wallabies still have the ball. They've regathered the ball. And they're now in midfield. Looking to attack this line. Brilliant game we've seen so far from both teams. And typical of a New Zealand-Australia match. So drowned in secrecy. I've just completely lost the word. But nonetheless, the Wallabies still continue on their longest set of phases. They're up to their 11th at the moment. Inside the 22. Come down as Mum. Phipps goes right. Off to CO. Advantage out for the Wallabies. And will he blow his whistle? No, he won't. Rob Simmons is deciding to have a bit of a run. And he'll do that with some big power through his legs. Australia on their 14th phase. Penalty coming to Australia. And another opportunity to bring this lead, this deficit, back down to only 2. Well, the last 13 minutes of this match is going to be one hell of a ride. But Dane Hallett-Petty, we see, smashed in a tackle by #Kura Hard, the big man from Papakura, obviously the American Samoan, St Kitts veteran, 74 tests to his name, Big J.
Look, I've just gotten word from the sideline that the All Blacks are about to make 3 changes in the form of Liam Squire, Charlie Faumuina and Wyatt Crockett.
Well, that's going to make difficult measures for the sideline people, having to punch all
those
numbers
I'm already confused because that's a hell of a lot of numbers they have to hold up. How do they manage that?
So I've used these boards, of course, before, and it's quite complex. If you're a retard, then you're probably not going to be able to use them. Sorry to all you retards. Sorry to break your dreams. However, you're not going to be able to use them. As Moore decides to tell Phibbs to shut the hell up. And well, 29 minutes to go in this game. Bernard Foley
Holy shit, that was funny.
Walks towards the ball, punts the ball, and puts it onto the post. It's hit the post. And well, the demise
Holy shit.
The Wallabies.
The Americans have taken over this match. American Airlines is sponsoring it too.
Off the post. And here we go, Bradley Richardson, with your substitutions.
Yeah, well, Wyatt Crockett in 17 and Charlie Faumuina in 18 have made their way onto the fields for Joe Moody and Owen Franks. So that's very obvious. Substitution as both props came on and 2 props came off. I wouldn't expect anything else in that sort of scenario, Jake.
Yeah, well, with that big hit, sees the end of Jerome Kano's night. Liam Squire, the big man from Tasman,
put Dane Coles on the wing.
And the Highlanders, he plays his 6th match for the All Blacks. And
Steve Chu looks like he's shitting himself in that crowd.
Well, as you would be at 15 points to 10. I've told a lot of people the All Blacks might be winning by 50. And I'm kind of regretting it now. Dane Hallett-Petty off the 22 takes it down on the halfway line. On the painted grass. Now Phipps off to Foley. Then takes it down is Lopeti Tamani. Phipps yet again off to Foley. Such a massive presence tonight as Nick Phipps. He's played well.
No, he hasn't.
I knew you'd say that, and that's the only reason why I did. Phipps
Firing
again
up.
off to Sio. On the cut ball is Sukopi Kepu, the Waratah. Falau now finds it in his hands. Good continuity here by the Wallabies. The retention of ball is key, and we've seen that throughout the match there. Strings of phases have really boosted their possession up. Here we go again. Phipps, they're not making any meters here, just going side to side from the south to the northern stands, and the All Blacks have got it. Dane Cole's the big man. Not often you see a front rower with his socks down, but that's the style that Dane Cole's bloody has.
Because he's a legend.
Crotty off to Ben Smith, man who won gold in sevens at the Delhi Commonwealth Games for New Zealand. Leonard Brown takes it down. The
Jake,
All Blacks
we'll
not
have
going
word
anywhere.
something else just might happen in the future too. It's just a bit of an inkling, but
All
something
Blacks
might
off to Cruden and lost forward. The Wallabies now have it, and they've got space. Phipps goes down. Lost forward is Henry Spade. Now picked up. Ben Smith finds himself in space. Kicked through, and now the Wallabies are on the scramble.
Go,
Julian
Severe!
Severe! Julian Severe try! That is one of the great tries of Bledisloe Cup. That is one of the great tries you'll see in Bledisloe Cup history. Brilliant by Julian Severe. Bradley Richardson, you may be a prophet, but my God, tell the Vatican, because you are here with us tonight. My God, the All Blacks, what a try.
Holy shit, I've done it twice, Jake.
And they've even taken a quick conversion. Aaron Cruden decides to put it straight out.
Aaron
the
Cruden's
Wallabies.
already
Boom.
kicked more than Bowden Barrett. As we look at this tries, very opportunistic try, but I guess that's what the All Blacks are, well, so good for, and something Australia really doesn't have. Australian's even tripped over himself trying to get there. He just was ashamed of himself, didn't want to be involved.
I think Julian's just fed up with the...
As one lady in the crowd was off her seat and with joy jumping up and down after that try. She wasn't even looking at the game. She was side on.
Well, I've got 25 minutes left in this one, and the All Blacks yet again show their brilliance from the bench. How many changes have we had? Crockett, Famuina, Squire, Cruden, all coming on. Such an impact. Big hit from the kickoff by Sefa Noivalu, but the All Blacks retain possession. Todd making his presence felt in this All Black jersey under the absence of Sam Cane. Cross kick yet again by Aaron Cruden, and lost forward into touch.
On
An
the full?
attempted catch by Julian Severe.
Yes, well, when you get some fresh legs on the field, you always make an impact. What do you reckon, Jacob?
Yes, well, it's always somewhat. Yes, so no, it's good to see the All Blacks and their tries. Very nice.
Yes, very
Yeah, well,
nice.
as we see a replay, the All Blacks try. My God, that was end-to-end stuff. And the All Blacks, well, they were finding themselves in some heavy defence only a few seconds earlier, where the Wallabies decided, hey, look, we're going to have a dart at this line. Julian Severe's scored 44 tries in 49 test matches.
Stop saying
And currently
dart.
sits fifth for all-time tries in New Zealand. Julian Severe, well, they don't call him the bus for nothing.
Do you reckon the Australians drink Spate beer because of Henry Spate?
I don't know, Bradley.
Because that'd be a bit of a disappointment if they didn't. I think that's something our researchers need to get onto.
Well, go ahead.
As Jake should be commentating the game right now, but unfortunately he
I'm just
isn't.
on the commentary sheet. I do apologise. Penalties to the Wallabies off the scrum. Clearly the option of a scrum or line out, and they took it and formed the scrum. Charlie Faumuina, the big Papatoetoe College alumni, and he has been the subject of the collapse scrum. And Shrek decides to give it to BF, my big BF, Bernard Foley. Big man.
No,
Is he the one married to Elise Perry?
No, that's Matt Tamua.
Oh, was he playing?
Huh?
Is Tamua playing?
No.
Oh, what happened to him?
Now,
I don't know.
Jake, I can clearly remember.
Come
in the
down off
movie
the line
Shrek-
out. Sorry about it, Nick. I do apologise. Lost
Bloody
forward by the
idiot.
All Blacks, by the Wallabies, then by the All Blacks. Nigel Owens just calming everyone down, doing a bit of a squat, putting his arm out. And Craig Jabir looks on, very
Jake,
rhythmic.
I can clearly remember in the movie Shrek, him explaining to Donkey that ogres have layers. Now, Moore does not have layers. As soon as one layer of skin comes off, he's bleeding like what? Like a, I don't know, cut snake.
Amen, sister.
Well, just another substitution has taken place. Pocock has come on for, not quite sure who he's come on for, but it's going to be 6, 7 or 8 from the Australian team. You'd think it's...
It was Lopete Tamani. Brad.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Thanks for stealing my thunder, Jake.
Sorry.
Better be. It's my job. Your job is to commentate the game.
I do apologise, and I would like to carry on with that job, as saying TJ Perenara. Phipps comes in, gives a bit of a shove. Dry humping Liam Squire, not the greatest. Over the ball is Pocock. Penalty to the Australians. What a dynamic impact in which Pocock has straight away. Less than 10 seconds on the field. He's already got a penalty against the All Black team. Well, in terms of a loose forward, that is exactly what you want. As soon as you get on the field, 22 points to 10.
It really begs the question of why the hell he didn't start this game.
Yeah, well, Lopete Tamani, obviously in his third match, didn't really fire. And, yeah. Well, now they have an opportunity in the similar area that we saw a brilliant try in the World Cup final by Tony Woodcock here. Well over 4 years ago now, the Aussies have it. Owens decides to blow his whistle, and now it's just a bit helter-skelter.
What the hell is he called?
Jabir has said to Liam Squire to leave the bloody hell alone.
To leave the bloody hell alone.
Amen.
Something's happened here.
Amen.
Something has happened, and they're going to reset the line out here, the All Blacks. They've been a bit naughty, and, well, Nigel Owens waving his arms around like a policeman, trying to
just
control
doesn't care.
traffic via a broken traffic
Jake, have
light.
you kept the score updated?
Yes, it is 22 points to 10. I do that job better than you, Brad.
Yes.
Taken down in the line out, Adam Coleman.
There's a bit of push and shove.
Now, a bit of push and shove. The heat comes on by the Wallabies. And the second shunt off the maul. I think it's Pocock who has it at the back.
They're
But
getting
now they
told to
clear
use it.
off to Phipps. Pass out to Falau. Brilliant play by the Wallabies. They still have the ball. Dane Haylett-Petty, in fact, looks like he actually got up. He didn't go off injured, it looks like. He's still on the field. Phipps now in midfield. Falau. I do apologise. I'm trying to continue with not having to burp. It is very hard. I've got it out. I'm ready to commentate. Anyway, Phipps goes left in midfield still. They're about 15 metres out from the line, the Wallabies. They need this to stay in the game. Any more from the All Blacks would see just a whitewash of points coming. And that's what we've come to expect of the All Blacks. But yet again, hot on attack, but they've lost the ball forward. Scrum time yet again, and the All Blacks are ecstatic.
Well, I'm quite happy about that because that was Nick Phipps who screwed it up. Doesn't surprise me.
Jake, do you have a pisser over out here?
Yeah, mate, it's just in the back, but everyone can hear because the mic's here.
I need to go to the little girl's room.
Okay, there you go. Yep. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Carry on, Brad.
No, I lost my train of thought. Thanks,
Yeah,
Nick.
fair enough. There's a bit of contrast in the coaching boxes, as we can see. The grumpy Michael Checker and the somewhat happy at times.
Well, no, that's a false statement because is Shag ever happy?
To an extent, I think yes, he is. You know,
Well, is he married?
I wouldn't have a clue. Would not have a clue. The All Blacks.
Do you have a clue now?
No, I don't.
Do you have a Blues clue?
No, I don't. Israel Folau making his presence felt. I tell you what, if we have to make a man of the match so far, for this Wallabies team, you'd almost have to put Israel Folau. He's been everywhere. Brad, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I disagree with you.
Who do you think should be then?
Can we have a shittest man of the match award?
Well, we know who you're going to give that to, Brad.
Nick Phipps.
I believe, quite contrastingly to what Bradley thinks, I believe he played one of the best games above Sevilla. The old Joe Rokothoko, Christian Cullen and Doug Howlett. 46, 46 and 49 Doug Howlett tries with Sevilla on 49. No, 45, sorry.
My man of the match so far is actually Matt Todd. Is he still on the field? Because shit, he's been everywhere. Here he is tackling Nick Phipps. Bit of a contrast in players, a good player and a shit player.
Well, Nick Phipps not terribly liked throughout the New Zealand circles after the thrown boot. And
Nick Phipps threw the shit out of that boot.
I probably would have done the same thing. Let's just keep that quiet. TJ Perenara feeds the scrum. We're into the last 19 minutes of the match. 8-9. Then we go to the other side. Kicked again by Cruden and
What a kick.
held up. And Haylett Petty has the option. Over the ball is Julian Sevilla, but not holding on long enough. Phipps. He's played well after, of course, the loss of Will Genia to his French club. They've called him back, and Matt Giddo is somewhat in the same position. Lost forward, Nick Phipps. Bradley, to your delight down there, Bradley
you
Richardson.
Beauty. I let out a bit of a chahoo when I saw that one on the big screen. Followed by many chahoos from the crowd behind me. I've actually made mates with the crowd behind me. There's a guy named John,
Yep.
a guy named Stephen, and a guy named Brody. A good bunch of lads. A mutual hatred for Nick Phipps is what we bonded over.
Yeah, well, a big shout out to John, Brody, and what was the other one? Stephen. As we see some interchanges
No, it's just Stephen,
coming
not
on.
Stephen.
Yeah, true. As we see some substitutions, TJ Perenara's night's done, but I'll leave that talking up to you, Brad.
Yes, well, I think TJ Perenara is better than Nick Phipps.
Is that all you have to say, is it?
Yeah, well, it's not hard though. Bloody the St. Paul
Frisbee is coming on, and who's coming off? Nick
ultimate
Phipps.
Frisbee's on the field. They must be changing sports. I'm surprised he hasn't brought a disc and a bloody glove with him.
Well, Nick Frisbee, the big man, is on. Alan Aladator is come on also, and Sakopi Kepu, the Waratah, makes his way off.
Oh, this game has slowed down a bit.
Yeah, it has.
Shit, I'm bloody tireder than.
A one-arm bricklayer in Baghdad. I'm just going to
Bloody
keep
Nora's
bringing
the
that
All
up.
Blacks take it off the back of the scrum and they lose it a forward again. Actually, it's off the Wallabies. Wallabies just keep losing the forward. I bet that was off Nick Phipps.
Yeah, well, Owens, he's not on the field anymore, Brad. I just told you that.
Pretty rough play now.
Bloody Nora, you probably still call. They probably looked at him.
Kerr Barlow finds his support. And Feki Toa, of course, come on the field as well. And we'll find out who he's replaced very shortly. Owens holding the Australians back. Now Sam Whitelock, Cruden, off to Todd, down the left wing. An advantage, I think, for an offside is coming by way of Nigel Owens. Cruden decides to hold it himself off to Dane Coles. The big man
The legend.
passes off
Go Brody!
Brody
Another big
Retallick.
man.
It's Leonard Brown who's come off, confirmed, and well, Nigel Owens says we'll have a penalty. And a
that?
penalty, and I tell you what, one of the good players of the game is about to be, no he's not, he's just having a little talking to. A
Bloody
possible yellow
Nigel
card.
Owens is losing his balls this match to do anything. He should have carded Nick Phipps, or he carded him in the first minute just to get him off the field.
Jake, you may know this. Has a medic ever been nailed in play while running onto the field.
Yes, well, Nick Phipps actually did, and that's part of the reason why I hate the bastard.
Yes, well, okay then. Okay.
Oh, throw a punch.
Oh, bit of fighting between.
There's a headbutt in there.
Hooper, yeah, mate.
Bit of whack in the face
Yeah,
by
mate.
Michael Hooper.
Try and fight Brody Retallick when you actually win a game.
Stop hitting him while he's down.
Yeah, amen.
Bloody
The All
Get him
Blacks,
up and then start hitting
the All
him.
Blacks looking to extend their lead by a furthermore 3. Here at a sold-out Eden Park. I looked at 3 o'clock this afternoon rather,
Shit, you were up early preparing.
and
Don't you love
it
Aaron
was
Cruden's time
3 tickets left for the match at 3, and they sold pretty fast. Cruden, brilliant shot from the drone, puts it down the middle of the sticks, unlike Bowden Barrett, and we go to 25 points to 10. The All Blacks continuing a brilliant run.
Can I point out a fact that Aaron Cruden has now actually kicked more kicks than Bowden Barrett in this game. Bowden Barrett, as we know, is not a very good... Look, I'm going to clap for Matt Todd as he comes to the field, because by golly, he's had a good game.
Yep, well, Artie Sevilla has coming on. Matt Todd coming off the bench, as I said. Only one player left to come on as for
Who's
the All
that?
Blacks, which is Cody Taylor.
Shit, he must
Tom
be feeling
Robertson
lonely.
comes on for the Wallabies. CO comes off, and the kickoff is taken by Bernard Foley and then taken down by the All Blacks. Assist drive by Liam Squire. All Blacks. 15 to go. They're up by 15 points. And a bomb's in the air. Brilliantly taken by Australia, but fumbled in the end. And the All Blacks regain possession. Kicked down as Aaron Cruden. And that
what a
is
beauty.
a perfect kick, but however, in the arms of Israel Folau, the big man passes off to his support on the left wing. The Wallabies off to Frisbee and a touch. The linesman, the touchy, has put his flag up, and I don't think Michael Checker agrees with it. Such a strange thing.
I love just calling.
Has he agreed with any call in a rugby match before?
No, I don't think he does, no.
Calling Jabir a touchy or a linesman is just
That
great,
wasn't-
isn't it?
Nick, that wasn't Jabir.
It's Marius van der Westhuizen.
Ah, well, who cares?
Same shit, different
see-
smell.
Yeah, exactly.
An interesting fact about Marius van der Westhuizen's name, that it's of South African descent.
Oh, forward
Really?
pass by Sauda Kurbalo, but not picked up by the match officials. They go left. They're on hot on attack now. Julian Severe's in space, but it's Artie Severe, in fact. Feki Toa,
Runs
who
past
slips
it.
over, runs past the ball and slips. Now, the Wallabies have possession.
Unfortunate bounce.
They need to score quickly here to stay in this game. Not many people would have expected 15 points to be the difference. However, for the punters who've put 13 plus on, they're still reasonably happy, but the Wallabies get the penalty.
Jack, have you got the score updated?
I do indeed. 25 points
Shit,
to 10.
you're better than me.
I know.
It's not very hard though, is
No,
it?
it's not. No, it's not. The Wallabies, well, they'll put a respectable effort here. So far, we must remember, as we would assume Cody Taylor coming off very shortly.
We head up to 13 minutes left in the game. Be interesting to see where it goes.
You
Yeah,
sound
well-
very enthused, Nick.
Yeah, well, 15 points in it. It's not much. 13 minutes.
7 subs made by the All Blacks and 6 by the Wallabies. Impact players like Pocock for the Wallabies, Cruden, Feki Toa coming off the bench and injecting themselves into this game. The All Blacks on defence now, inside their own half. Stephen Moore, the Saudi Arabian prince, takes it down. He goes. Frisbee has a bit of a dart, a ripped neck almost. Bloody Nora. Counter-ruck opportunity for the All Blacks, but they can't quite get it. Artie Severe's quick out of the line, putting pressure onto the Wallabies. Now there's gaps, but they can't find them as the Wallabies. They go wide, it's an overlap. Reece Hodge off to Haylett Petty, taken down by Julian Severe on the right wing.
There's
He's on
medics
the-
all over the field.
Yeah, there is. Bodies down everywhere in a physical battle, but as soon as what you would expect, from a New Zealand-Australia clash in any sport is heart and soul on the field. Big brother versus little brother. But at this point, the little brother has the upper hand.
I know, but how many people in the Big Brother country
All Blacks
actually
have
care
the ball.
about
Ben
rugby?
Smith makes a dart. Onto the 10-metre line of their own territory still. They've got an overlap on the left-hand side. Off to Coles.
What a ball.
Xavier goes through. He's got Spate to beat.
Xavier!
Brilliant!
You're a legend.
Julian Severe's over.
Go, Xavier!
Puts the ball under the black dot. Just powerful. And reminds you of the late, great Jonah Lomu. Jonah Lomu. And he gets his second tonight. And he continues on his streak and becomes the second most equal try scorer in New Zealand All Black rugby history. With that try, brilliant as he bumped off both Henry Spate and I think it was, who was it who came across? Was it, am I right in saying Reece Hodge, Brad?
Yeah, I think you're right, but I'm not actually sure who all the players are.
He stayed down.
Oh, just brilliant scenes. The crowd up on their feet, going absolutely mental. And just superb by the All Blacks.
And all of a sudden, not the Black Caps, sorry, I was thinking of a real sport. The All Blacks are up by 22 points.
Well, they go up 32-10, 10 minutes to go. Well, here we are in this typical New Zealand battle. And we may well see yet another demolishing defeat of the Wallabies by the All Blacks. Xavier gets his 46th try in Test match history.
Even the fire's going off. What
Yeah,
a shot.
Sensational. Well, they kick off, and at the time of kick-off, they had 4 medics on the field.
And they all sprinted off.
Xavier again!
Xavier makes a break! Taken in the tackle by number 21, Nick Frisbee. The ultimate Frisbee takes him down. Back to Coles. They go right. They've got the attack here. Retallick on the back foot is the Wallabies. Kurbalo, Cruden, off to Feki Toa. He goes down, but no doubt he'll get up like his ad says.
Do what Vicky Power did.
Door fell on him when he was
Off
when he
to
was
Ben
3.
Smith. Sam Whitelock. We haven't mentioned him much, but a hard-working lock. Obviously.
Deception, Dean Munn.
Matches, interception by Dean Munn. Dane Coles!
Dane Coles!
Brilliant tackle by Dane Coles.
What a legend!
Well, the hooker caught up to the
There
lock.
he goes.
Knocked
he's
the
gonna
ball
set up
out
a
of it.
try.
And the All Blacks have got the ball. Squire finds a gap. What a passage of play. Down and gets back up, but he wasn't
still
held. He did
going.
it again. Goes down, the 38 out are the All Blacks. Hot on attack. This is brilliant play by the All Blacks and the Wallabies. Kurbalo reaches into the depths of the ruck to find the ball. Cruden finds Feki Toa behind Wyatt Crockett. Now Israel Dag on the right wing. Crockett finds a gap inside to Reed. 1-2, but take it down. Popped up and lost forward. Rob Simmons intercepts it. Well, I'm almost out of breath. Certainly one of the best passages of play by the All Blacks and the Wallabies. The ball is still alive. Foley puts boot to ball. And
Still
we
in
may
play.
have a break. No, we won't. It's still in play. Brad Richardson. Ben Smith has the ball in midfield. Xavier looking for a hat trick. Goes through a gap. Can he go the way? Inside Dane Coles. Try!
Dane Coles!
Try to Dane Coles. The All Blacks 37. Australia 10. Why did I doubt you, the All Blacks? This is unbelievable.
That's almost a second one if he was allowed that one where he got held back. Who expects that from a hooker?
Well.
What a
Dane Coles,
tackle.
you take it back to the cover tackle. He even was able to put a shove into the face of Dean Mum in the tackle.
Yeah, well, he's probably buggered off with mum and dad fighting over lawsuits.
Well, Eden Parker's going off, and rightly so.
Dad being Retallick.
Xavier runs around David Pocock Hooper, in fact. The bus fended off Nick Frisbee, and, well, Dane Haylett-Petty was just able enough to hang on, and Brad Richardson, well, a beautiful offload, and Dane Cole's over for the try.
That's why I love me a good hooker try.
There's another 2 medics out on the field.
Shit, they're coming from everywhere.
Well,
It was funny seeing them sprint off at the restart.
well, your reason why the Eden Park is going absolutely crazy is Dane Coles comes off, and Cody Taylor, to play his 11th match in the All Black jersey, comes on. The man from the
That's 50
Crusaders.
on the cards. 2 more tries.
Well,
Can
50
they do it?
may well be on the cards. You wouldn't be surprised the way the All Blacks finish games of late. Cruden puts it up, and just away to the left.
Oh, they can't do it
is-
anymore, can they? Oh, yeah, they can.
Well, there is the support in the stands as we take a look at this last try. Just power and acceleration by Julian Severe, but just superb by Dane Coles to finish. He's become a brilliant finisher of the All Blacks.
Did I just see Shag happy?
No, he was standing up. I don't know if he was happy, though.
I'm not too sure. He doesn't stand up for much. No, he doesn't stand up for much.
Well, the second sub, Brad Richardson, Quade Cooper comes on. And, well, Bernard Foley's still on, so I imagine Reece Hodge has left the field.
Yeah, I can't actually confirm that at that point of time. I was too busy talking to John and Brody and Stephen in the
Yeah.
crowd again.
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh, here we
gotta
go
tend
again.
to make some breaks. Falmawina
Famuina.
decides to put his arm in the face of Reece Hodge. He's still on as Hodge. It may well be Karevi, and there may be a shuffle penalty to the Wallabies. Entrance
Take the
incorrect.
shot.
Steve Moore's off. And James Hansen is also on. The subs are coming from everywhere. And both benches have been emptied. And, well, we move into the last 5 minutes. We must remember that the biggest score that the All Blacks have put on the Wallabies is 37 points difference in 96. And that was at Athletic Park at 6th of July. The old Athletic Park, now a retirement village. But,
Athletic Park is a retirement.
yeah, well, they've had
village
to
now.
bowl it down because it wasn't safe. Australia from the back of the line out, take them all, and now they've got numbers in here.
Where was Athletic
Not
Park?
going far.
Wellington, Brad
Oh.
Wellington. Now, well, they've put a second shove on, and it's James Hansen who has the ball at the back. And, well, for the
Slowly
first
moving
time in the
forward.
match, they've really counted this maul, but it's gone to ground. The All Blacks hold on. Can they? The ball's available, says Owens. Here we go. Pick and drive. The call they call pigs.
Pigs!
Come on, pigs, boys. Anyway, Frisbee off to Pocock.
Almost stripped by Artie Savia.
Yeah, what a big tackle indeed on the back foot. However, they look to shift that loss
Coughed
forward
up.
by the Wallabies. Well, it's the testament to their night. They get so close, but no reward. Well, what the hell is... Oh, no, he's just going to get the ball. I thought Dane Coles was going to jump in the crowd for a second, but 9 handling errors by the Wallabies.
It really disappoints me how some of the crowd has already left. You pay all that money for a ticket and you leave early.
Maybe they're going to go get a hot dog or something like that.
No, well, they've had 77 minutes to do it. Surely they've got their hot dogs already.
Yeah, but, you know, roads get busy, eh?
No, well, you can just get one. I don't think they have to get to road to get a hot dog, Nick.
No, but I mean, to get out of there. 'Cause it is
Last-
Auckland.
Last 3 minutes of the game. You can't see the record of All Black v Australia matches changing.
Nick, I'll let you come back down onto the field to finish off the call.
Yeah, well,
Alright.
we're almost in this last sort of 2 minutes of the game. 3 minutes, in fact. The All Blacks. No one scored 4 tries, the All Blacks, in an All Black game against the Wallabies. It may change tonight. Tawa Kubalo,
Maltese is still hanging in.
he's a bit battered. He had to get his face strapped up due to the blood. Kieran Reid off 9. He goes to Cruden. Smashed in a tackle.
Wasn't a tackle.
Well, an attempted tackle. Reece Hodge decides to go to ground.
He's still down.
The All Blacks, I think he's almost been stunned. Back into the line, I think. No, in fact, he's still down, Reece Hodge, after that brilliant bump by Malachi Fekitoa, cross kick. And it's Israel Dag. In fact, Dane Coles it is. No, it is Israel Dag. I do apologise. I was mistaken by the speed.
I thought it was Dane Coles.
Another Dane, Haylett Petty, takes it down by the Wallabies. We surge into the last 2 minutes of the match. The Wallabies looking to salvage something out of this one. Somewhat of a consolation in the last dying moments of this game. The world record will be broken for most consecutive wins. The last time the All Blacks were close enough was denied by the Wallabies when Steve Donald, the Beaver, didn't kick the ball out in Hong Kong in 2010. The All Blacks get the ball. Retallick surges into Wallaby territory, into the red zone, just outside of the 22. Kerbarlow, Cruden, lost. Forward by Artie Savia. The Pineapple loses it forward. He's got a haircut on him, doesn't he? They shift it right is the Wallabies. Hansen, Haylett Petty, runs into a firm tackle by Ryan Crotty. Smashed. Cody Taylor smashes a Wallaby. We don't know who it was.
Yes, he's like a stunned mullet.
I don't think you know who he is afterwards. Last minute of the match, 37 points to 10. The Australians are down by 27 points. You won't think that they can come back for this. Australia still have the ball. New Zealand now have it. Fekitoa off to Squire. Now then off to Aaron Cruden. Makes a break. Off to Israel Dag. And well. Just like in dying moments of matches, the All Blacks get another try. 20 seconds to go. Well, that doesn't stop the All Blacks. Israel Dag goes over for yet another try, but Owens wants to check a possible forward pass. Well, an ending so fitting of the All Blacks' home calendar would be a try, a testament to what they've played like this year. Well, not clear and obvious. You'd have to say it's flat. Not clear and obvious, so you would... No, it is forward, says Nigel Owens, and they'll go back for a scrum.
Oh, there's no way.
Now, hold on.
Oh, backwards out of the hand.
Backwards motion.
Now, that is backwards motion.
Not a forward pass.
Yeah, but however, you don't think Aaron Cruden has the greatest look of confidence. Neither does Israel Dag, so you're probably correct.
Hell?
You probably are correct in saying it was forward.
Yeah, but if your hands are in a backwards motion and the ball goes forward...
You're not the most compelling of camera angles by the Sky team. Yeah, well, the benches have been cleared. The tanks have been emptied as Brodie Retallick is coming off. And it looks like someone's going to have to come back on for him because he is injured. More than likely, Jerome Kano may have to come back on and fill into that locking position. Fast fact about Wyatt Crockett, who's on. In fact, it is Kano who comes back on. Prop Wyatt Crockett has played 25 consecutive test wins. The record for this is 28, held by England loose forward Lawrence Delalio. So, well, if he can win 4 more times, if they win all matches in 2016 with the end of the year tour matches included, and Wyatt Crockett is involved in all, well, he will then be the most winning of World Rugby players. Put into the scrum, ultimate frisbee. And the ball comes back. The second shove comes on by the All Blacks, and they've got the ball. No, they don't. Penalty to the Wallabies.
I just kicked this shit out.
In fact, penalty to the All Blacks. It's been reversed. David Pocock was making a dick of himself. Somewhat of living up to his name.
Is it a surprise though?
And you've got to have a crack. Kieran Reid, you've got to have a crack. Tap and pass, mate. Tap and pass.
I reckon he's just going to go for the tap and he pretends that he's going to take a kick.
Well, I think they're going out.
Trick them all. Just take it. You're not going to lose now anyway.
All Blacks having a bit of a korero with Nigel Owens, the referee, deciding to boot the ball into touch. And Aaron Cruden does so. And they're on their feet at Eden Park because the All Blacks have gotten the world record of 18 wins in a row. By a Tier 1 nation, they hold the record. Yet again, another record in the books for New Zealand. And so fitting that the All Blacks do it against the Wallabies. Last remarks by our sideline commentator Nick Van Bar. A brilliant match. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a tough game near the end. Australia really held out and defended well. Great output by New Zealand in the end. Just want to say, how long's this record going to last?
Well, you'd almost think
up to 30. I'm putting it to 30.
Bradley
they've
Richardson.
got to beat Cyprus.
Brad Richardson.
They've got to beat Cyprus.
Your final thoughts on the game?
Well, I thought it was a very good rugby match. A lot of rugby was played during the game, a lot of breaks also, which also was that great during a rugby match because you come to see rugby, not breaks. But overall, I think Nick Phipps had a shit game, and that's all I'd like to say.
Well, such a positive figure, Bradley Richardson. The All Blacks finish their year at home with a comprehensive victory over the Wallabies of 37 points to 10. The end of year tour coming up. Starting the 6th of November, it's the All Blacks versus Ireland in Chicago.
You can't forget the Maori All Blacks versus the United States.
Of course,
too.
the Māori All Blacks versus the United States, as well as All Blacks playing Italy, and then back to Ireland for another clash against them, finishing up in Paris for France. On behalf of myself, Jake O'Flaherty, co-commentators, Nick Van Bar down sideline, and on analytic comments, Bradley Richardson. I'd like to wish you a very good evening indeed. Thank you very much for listening to the PYJAMA commentary of the All Blacks' last Bledisloe Cup. They get the cup with a brilliant win. New Zealand 37, the Wallabies 10.